Okay, so welcome to another amazing episode of The Healthy Healer. And today it is my pleasure to introduce to you a very special guest star that we have coming all the way in from India. Manohar Grandhi is a friend of mine at this point because we've had a few discussions online and we've actually met and had a conversation earlier this week. So I got a little taste of what this man brings to the world. And what he brings to the world is something that's really important for all of us. His specialty is something that we all do. Every single one of us tries to do, and most of us do. Like 99% of us do it every single day. You may think you know what it is, but until we introduce Manohar, we don't really know what we're talking about here. And Manohar does this every day as well, and probably does it a little better than most of us, which makes him very admirable because many of us are having trouble in this area of life. And Manohar has done all the research necessary to get a handle on this particular issue and is helping people with this particular issue. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to today's guest star. His name is Manohar Grandhi, and he comes all the way from India. Manohar, thank you so much for being on The Healthy Healer.
Yeah, thank you, Fred, for inviting me, and I'm humbled to hear this great introduction about me.
Okay, you're welcome. And so, Manohar, tell us a little bit about what is it that you do? What is it that you spend time doing in your day?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm working currently in the software industry, as a work-wise. But apart from that, as a passion, I'm someone who is passionate about mental health, and especially in terms of mental health, I'm passionate about learning, talking about the topic of sleep.
Sleep.
Uh, bec- yeah, sleep. Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
yeah. So this is because from my own experience, I had this issue. So for exactly in 2019, I was having issues going to sleep. So I was having insomnia, and when I went to the psychiatrist, he diagnosed that I was on anxiety, and I was given anti-anxiety pills before going to sleep. And it was a very desperate situation, because the more I tried with I tried everything that I could see on the internet. I was seeing on the YouTube many videos which talk about, like, how can you sleep in 30 seconds, or use some kind of method, or whatever, the military technique or 478 technique. So many methods I used to see, but I couldn't go to sleep. But then with uh, discussions with psychologists, and my biggest game changer was the practice of meditation. How I was able to overcome the from sleepless nights to I became, and I was able to sleep in much restful and much better sleeping nights. Yeah.
Okay, so meditation was the key feature that was an add-on. It was better than anything you had learned on the internet or better than any pills that the doctor might have given you to help you sleep. You learned something
Yes.
about meditation. Is there a particular type of meditation, or is it how many times a day? Do you have to do it at night when you're ready to sleep, or what do we learn about meditation?
Okay. Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Fred, that you asked. Like, how and when, all those things. So let me start basically with my part, where how I did it was, initially when I started, I just started with one of the basic forms of meditation, which is to breath meditation, which is like, when you inhale, you observe the breath, and exhale, you also observe the breath. All your focus, basically the anchor, will be on the breath that is going in and coming out. So I tried this initially, didn't see a lot of results and then I just hopped on to another form of meditation called as chanting meditation, where all you have is, instead of the focus being on the breath, you focus on a mantra. So it could be anything. So it could be om, it could be anything that you can do it. So that is one form. Then I went to other form of meditation. The only thing is, uh, there is no instant results that show up just because you are meditating. You don't see any instant results. So I realized this the wrong way, where I tried so many things, but then the thing that really changed me was sticking to one form of meditation, which is the breath meditation. And what I used to do is I initially started listening to guided meditations, and I just stuck to one track, which was starting just with 3 minutes of meditation. Just stuck with that, did it regularly for 1 week. And then from 3 minutes, I just increased it to 5 minutes, and 5 minutes to 8 to 12, 12 to 20. And 20 minutes before going to sleep was the my regular time which I put in for meditation. And that is when slowly the thoughts that am I going to sleep, am I going to what is going to happen if I don't sleep, and all those things slowly started uh, getting losing their power on me. And so I was able to sleep much better when compared to where I was on anxiety. And what happened as a result, Fred, is like whenever I went to the doctor and I told him that I'm meditating regularly and I'm feeling much better, I don't feel anxious. Even with my dialogue, the conversation, he was able to clearly judge, and my medications was tapered off. So every time it was reduced by half. And in the third visit, he also told me that I need not take any medication as such.
Okay, very good. So that's really interesting. So I guess your hypothesis here is that a lot of the reasons that we don't sleep is that we're worried we're not going to sleep,
Correct.
right? Like
Absolutely right.
the
Yes.
biggest reason we don't sleep is that we get very worried that we might not sleep.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and in that worry, we get really anxious and we start thinking about what's going to happen if I don't sleep. What if I don't get back to sleep? What if I don't sleep tonight? How's this going to affect my life? How's it going to affect my work? How's it going to affect my well-being? What if I'm up all night? Those are kind of things that go ruminating. And meditation helps you to reduce that level of anxiety. And so
Mhm.
without that anxiety, you have an open pathway to have the possibility of sleep. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yes, you summed it up beautifully, Fred. Which is like the rumination starts losing its power, and you also get into a natural state of relaxation. And because of you are relaxed, the probability that you sleep gets increased a lot. Yes.
Yes. And so yeah, I've noticed recently I had some trouble sleeping up until last month. And part of that was because I was having significant financial difficulties and then significant difficulties getting new clients. And I was afraid for my future with respect to finances. And then I made some decisions, and some things changed around, so I'm not as afraid now. And when I wasn't as afraid, I was able to empty my mind before I went to sleep, and actually, in fact, open up the gates for me to want to sleep, and then I could actually sleep without being nervous. And I could tell that I agree with you. It seems like that what was really preventing me from sleeping was the worry that I might not sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes I wake up at like 4 in the morning and I get worried that, I have to wake up at 6. And I wake up and I look at the clock and it's 4 or 4:15 or 4:30. And
Mhm.
I get nervous that it's only an hour and a half before I have to wake up. And I start thinking about my day. And before too long, I'm not going to be able to sleep that hour and a half. I might as
Yeah.
well just get up and meditate. What should someone do if they wake up an hour and a half earlier than they want to?
Yeah, so in fact, when you were talking, this happened right today itself. So I just woke up exactly at 4:15, 4:30, and then I was just like you, I was thinking like, what should I be doing? But then I just focused on one thing, which is just to be for just putting myself on the bed and relaxing myself. So instead of thinking like what should I do in the day, so I just put myself in a thought that this is the time for me to relax, and I give my body and my mind all the time to relax. My mind obviously will wander, so the mind as it is will wander. So I just said, It's okay, relax. Now is not the time to think, it's the time to relax." I just did this thing of relax, telling myself it's time to relax, it's time to relax, it's time to relax. And it did take some time. I don't measure, don't know how much time did it take, but eventually I went to sleep. So that
Mhm.
is the way, which is like I always talk to people. And the thing is, this is actually called as loss aversion theory, where you always focus on the loss that you have because you are not able to sleep. So the more you focus on the loss, the difficult it is. So instead, yeah, it is not going to be easy when you just start off. So instead of saying that mm, there's only so much time left, so just tell your mind that it's time to relax, and I give my body and my mind all the resources that are needed to relax. So if the thought of work or whatever comes, just say that to your mind that now it's the time to relax, I don't want to entertain you, and just don't engage in that. Just, and then just come back to relaxation. Just relax. So you could have couple of deep breaths on the bed itself, and then just relax. And a couple of times I've also tried this spread, which is like the practice of gratitude, where what happens is when you practice gratitude just where you are, then like you talked about, when our brain has a problem to solve, a brain always wants to solve it. But when you are practicing the act of gratitude, you are telling your brain that there's nothing to solve, you can relax, and then you there are better chances of you going to sleep.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we have a problem here when I feel like I need to solve a problem rather than just have the gratitude of, life is good the way it is. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, the other thing I have is there ever a time where it's a good idea to just get out of bed and walk around and like go read a book or, like go do something different rather than sit there and toss and turn in the bed, maybe add a little variety to the sleep? Sometimes
Yes.
I've noticed that if I actually just get up and cut the nonsense and go, pet my cats or drink some water or read a little bit out of a real book, not my computer, like a real book.
Yeah.
And then maybe I brush my teeth or something like this, that this causes a break in the process of me being ruminative.
Mhm.
And with that, when I return to bed, it's like a new chapter and I can consider sleeping again. Do you have a recommendation along those lines?
Yeah, definitely. That definitely works. But the only thing is, it's not going to be a one size fits all approach, right? So, for example, let's say that, like whatever you said, having a small walk, having play, I mean, petting and brushing your teeth, or like the only thing is, for example, like since you are into your field of study, so if you start reading books which interest you, which actually try to peak in that curiosity, like what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next, or if you think in that direction, that is when you then what happens is your brain completely shifts from relaxation to a path where it wants to learn something, it wants to understand this, the next part, or those kinds of things. But if you are just reading a paperback book with an act of relaxation to take your mind away from the rumination, that definitely helps. So as far as possible, when you signal to your brain saying that there is no danger, there is nothing but relaxation, that definitely helps.
Okay. And so this idea, let's talk a little bit about this no danger thing. It's important when I'm sleeping that I feel like I'm safe, right? It's important
Yes.
that that's really important. In order for me to close my eyes and say goodbye to the world, I have to feel like things are going to be okay overnight and that I can sleep safely, close my eyes and give up on all the control that I have in the waking world.
Yes.
All right. So safety is a key issue, at least considering being safe. Now, I have another reason that I stay awake sometimes. I'd love to hear your view on this. My wife tends to snore loud. And when she snores, that wakes me up, and I can get upset. I can get resentful. I can start getting caught up in the pattern of her snoring, which isn't very consistent. She might snore one breath and miss a breath, and then snore the next two breaths, then miss
Mhm.
two breaths, and then snore for four breaths like that. And I get really caught up in that, and it makes it difficult to sleep. Do you have
Yes.
ideas on, if there's too much noise, the car comes or the garbage truck comes or your
Mhm.
wife snores? What do we do with that?
Yeah, so yeah, in fact, this was the problem where with me also, when my I used to before my marriage, like when I slept with my parents, my father also snores a lot, and this is also same pattern, which is like missing a breath and all those things. In fact, like I used to have this problem, but the only thing, Fred, I would give is instead of resisting anything, just accept it. Okay, so when you accept it, and then just tell yourself that I am there, I don't bother with whether I sleep or I don't sleep. So in fact, recently I happened to sleep with my father, and I just knew that it would become difficult, and it did take a lot of effort. I mean, it did take a lot of time, not an effort, it did take a lot of time for me to sleep. But then I always kept saying to myself that I should just focus on relaxation. So if he snores, I just accept the snoring. And then instead, I say to my mind that I don't want to resist this snoring. Instead, I want to give my mind the relaxation. So just relax, relax. Just every time your thought comes that when will this stop, or how will this end, or should I go to the other room, or anything like that, I just tell my mind that it's time, this time which I'm on the bed is time for relaxation. I don't bother whether I sleep or I don't sleep. I
Mm.
just give my body and my mind the relaxation. So that's the only mantra which I follow, which is to tell my mind that it's time to relax, and I do whatever I can to relax.
Okay. And so is one of the things you might do, might you actually get up and sit and meditate at that point, at that time, right in the middle of the night? Or do you sleep? Do you not meditate during the night? Do you only meditate like before bed and then when you wake up?
Yeah, so that's definitely an option, Fred, which you told, which is to meditate there itself. But you can all. I also, in like you said, I just don't get up. I just lie down on the bed and I meditate on the breath. So that's one option which you can definitely consider. But the basic thing is this, the same, which is to accept the situation the way it is instead of resisting it, and just tell your body and mind that it's time to relax, just and focus on relaxation, which will definitely help.
Interesting. Yep. Okay. I'm going to put something in here. We'll see. Take a look. Um, okay. You see, I put something in the chat and that came from your bio there. Um, Many
Okay.
different things that we can do to sort of help us along these lines. And I'm going to read these out loud and then I'm going to have you speak to them. Number one, be happy. Number two, make other people happy. Number three, help as many people as you can. Number four, never procrastinate to make your life better. Take massive action now. Number five, keep learning and sharpening your skills always. Number six, time is free, but it is priceless and it can be well invested or wasted. It is up to us. And number seven, it is a waste of time, health, and other resources when spent on the anxiety of not sleeping. Now, you put these
Yeah.
together as a way to help people actually get aligned so that sleep becomes more likely, right?
Yes.
All right. Can
Yes.
you speak to these? What are the, or how do these work together?
Yeah. So yeah, so like I always believe in these things, which is like to be happy, and you can always get happiness. And the most crucial part, which I have experienced from my personal life, is I spent a lot of time and resources on the anxiety that I was not sleeping. So because I was not sleeping, I went into this loss aversion theory, which I initially talked about, that I'm going to have this, or I'm going to run into this, or I'm going to die prematurely, going to die early, or what will happen if I happen and I'm on a wheel and I get micro sleep. So in fact, it even happened with me when I was struggling, where I had a micro sleep when I was driving and I was on the wheel on a freeway kind of a thing. And so it actually scared a lot of me. So this is the things which it happened. So I understood that instead of focusing, see, our brain wants us to survive, and the second thing it is, it wants to avoid pain and move us towards pleasure. So when it wants to avoid pain, when you go in this mode where it you tell that if you don't sleep, something is going wrong, if you don't sleep, something is going wrong. So then it wants to protect you from every possible scenario, and it, instead of having just five problems, you actually end up having 500 problems that you have to solve, because your brain wants to solve every possible pain. Either it could be real pain or a perceived pain, it doesn't matter to the brain. It wants to solve everything, and then you end up in the problem of anxiety, is what I would say.
Yeah. Okay. And so, is there anything wrong with me when I have those thoughts, or am I just being human?
No, there's nothing wrong with you because you're having thoughts. Yeah, you are a human, and it is quite normal to have those thoughts. It's only that you don't engage with those thoughts, that matters.
And how does meditation play a role here? What is it about meditation that helps me reduce my anxiety?
Okay, yeah, that's a really interesting question, Fred. So basically, what happens is, like we touched upon initially, our brain either is in the past, ruminating over the past, or anxious about the future. It never is in the present moment, right here, right now. So that is even in fact with me also. But what happens is when you meditate and focus on the breath, or it could be any form of meditation, be it the mantra meditation, be it the any form of meditation. What meditation is bringing you is bringing you to the present moment, right here, right now. In the present moment, right here, right now, the worries of the past are not there, and the anxiety of the future is not there. When you focus on the present moment, that is when the anxiety starts losing its grip, and the guilt and the shame of the past also start losing its grip. And when you are in the present moment, right here, right now, your brain understands that there is no problem to solve, and then you are able to relax much better and sleep much better.
Hmm. So, the meditation gives us access to the here and now in ways that our regular life doesn't necessarily give us immediate access. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And so, and almost all the meditations are geared towards making that happen, giving us access to what's happening right now and freeing us from the restraints and the constraints that our thoughts and emotions bring our way. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, Fred. You summed it up very beautifully.
Okay, good. Well, I really understand that. And it's really something that I think all of us can learn. Now, is there certain kinds is there certain are you a fan of like Kundalini, or are you a fan of, Michael Singer, or are you a fan of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, or who are the meditation gurus out there that you think would make it easy for those people who, as of right now, maybe Eckhart Tolle, like who is the people that really can help someone learn how to meditate if they've never done it?
Okay. Yeah. So if you've never done it, so the my first recommendation is, in fact I learned it this way, which is like in Udemy there is a course called Meditation for Everyone by Greg DeVries. So that's the name. So you could listen to those meditations. So in fact in that course there are guided meditations, which I talked about, like the 5 minutes, the 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, and 20 minutes. So this is the one way which I could do. There are also some beautiful, like you touched upon, there are many courses that have happened. So it's not about the the method of, like, from whatever I understand, it's not about the method. So in fact, I was also talking with a meditation teacher, and he's told this beautiful suggestion, which is like, just like there are flavors of an ice cream, there are flavors of meditation. So it is upon to you to taste them, and then select them one which you need the most. And it doesn't even mean that you have to just stick to one form of meditation. Maybe today you may feel like one vanilla is your favorite, and tomorrow butterscotch may be your favorite. So you can mix and match it. All it matters is, because you initially told, it is bringing to the present moment. So you can mix and match and try the thing that works and suits you much better, and just stick with that practice is what I would
Okay.
say.
So here, thank you so much. I have another question. Is the idea, you're from India, and many
Mhm.
of us Westerners, we associate, if you're from India, you already meditate every day. We just have that. And us Westerners, we don't meditate every day because we live this fast-paced, crazy nonsense life out here in the West, in the United States. Have you noticed that there are cultural differences in people, finding meditation to be helpful, and taking it on as a regular daily habit?
Uh, that the part which you talked about. It's not totally true that people here in India meditate. Yeah, but with globalization catching up, Fred, there are so many things that India has also taken from the West, which is especially the United States, because we work closely in the IT sector, mostly with States clients. So we have also the urbanization has rapidly increased, and we have mimicked so many things from the West. But having said that, people from village life, from whatever I have seen, live a much a simpler life, whereas people who are from the urban cities have complicated their life, is what I would say. And people who I mean, I don't see many people in the IT industry where I work in invest a lot of time in, I mean, not lot, invest a time into meditation. So it is because of this culture where they want to do. The more of doing creates this problem, is what I say. And I always tell it could be anything, any form. You could even start just with the practice of gratitude journal also. It doesn't matter that you have to have a hard and fast rule of a dedicated time of a meditation. So investing in any form of relaxation definitely helps.
That's beautiful. Okay, good. So if someone wants to work with you, if someone is interested in now you've written a few books, right? You've written
Mhm.
some fun books and they're on Amazon. What is the number one book that you wrote again?
Yeah, so I've actually written three books. My first book is called Virtual Volunteer. It is about volunteering, uh, my volunteering experience with few NGOs. The second book, which is my close to my heart, is called My Sleepless Nights: A Story of Victory Over Insomnia. So this is actually my real life struggle with insomnia and how I have overcome it. So they are the paperback and ebook is available on Amazon, and I've also launched audiobook. So they are available on multiple platforms like Kobo Books and all those things. Uh, so and the third book is called 20 Practice Exercises for English. This is more or less to the people here in India who have problems understanding English. So that is it. So, and you also touched upon how can they contact me. So, I'm available on all social media channels. You can find me with my name. And I have a website also called manohargrandhi.com. So, there also you can find me.
Beautiful. Okay, great. And are you taking on new clients? Is there a discovery call that they get when they call you if they
Yeah.
if they contact you? Is that how you figure out whether it's a good fit, or how does that work?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Fred. Which you talked about, I do have a discovery call, and if I can help them, I talk about what I can help them, and
Exactly.
then we work.
All right, beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure, of course, talking to you. Thank you for the opportunity to do so. Is there anything else I might have missed that you want to let my listeners know before we go our separate ways here this evening?
Nothing as such. I think we covered most of it, whatever I wanted to discuss, and I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure, and I think there's a lot of people who can benefit from what you have to offer. I think I just told my wife yesterday, I believe it's the number one complaint in all of psychiatry right now is that I am having trouble sleeping. So it's a very, very common complaint around the world. And there's all sorts of reasons to be nervous or worried or anxious or depressed or scared, and there's really great reasons to have that all be in your life. And if you have that in your life, it's going to affect you when the time comes to sleep.
Yes.
All
Correct.
right. Beautiful, Manohar. Thank you so much for being here. And folks, I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if so, if you can hit the comment or the share button or subscribe to the channel, that would really be great. It would allow conversations like this to get to the people who need them more than anyone else. And I would also appreciate that as we move the Healthy Healer into the next level. Manohar, thanks again for being a guest on the show, and we'll talk to you soon. And anything else I can do for you, just let me know, please.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.
We'll catch you on the flip side.